Hello again, everyone. This is Jim here with another video update. As you can tell by the intro music, I'm going to review a little bit of my Italian trip. I think I mentioned in my last video that I had a trip to Italy coming up, and this is not going to be an Italy travel vlog or anything. I'm not going to show you pictures of architecture or whatever, the people or the countryside. It's just going to be, I'm just going to talk about, my particular somewhat off the beaten path diet, how I managed in Italy during a trip when really was not possible to maintain, my strict home style eating pattern over there. So I just want to recount what my plan was going into the trip, how it modified and how it changed, what I actually did, and then the aftermath and maybe some lessons that I learned from it. I'll share the whole perspective because it didn't quite go according to plan. First of all, I want to say that it's been a while since I made a video, and there's been a number of new subscribers. So I want to do a brief recap for new people and just say, the reason I'm talking about my diet on this trip is because, it was about 3 years ago. I changed my meal frequency. I changed the type of food I eat. I first started just with whole foods, low carb. Later on, I migrated into, eventually I went to almost zero carb and a carnivore diet. And I've been that way practically 2 years now, eating one meal a day. 98+% of it is meat, what I eat. My daily eating pattern is I have a coffee for breakfast, I have a coffee for lunch, and then I have a meat feast for dinner. Sometimes I'll have some eggs, and I do have one piece of chocolate, but basically it's meat, and a lot of it. So, and my stance on diet deviation or cheat days or splurges, whatever you want to call it, has been all along. I've preached to be pretty restrictive on that, especially in the beginning phases when you're trying to break old habits, when you're trying to break carb addictions. I just knew that didn't work for me, and I recommended always to people to conquer your diet, be confident that you are past the addictive phase before you even contemplate having any kind of a cheating type episode. And certainly don't plan to cheat. I mean, don't have a 1 day per week or certain time of the month that you're going to do this or that. I mean, just and now I have new thoughts on that because of this trip, and I want to share that. But anyway, my mental mindset is always, I don't restrict. I say to myself and to anybody that I can eat whatever I want. I just choose not to. Most of the time, it's very, 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 very infrequently that I eat anything other than my standard diet. But if the situation comes up, I'm not worried about it, especially if it's going to be a 1 day thing or whatever, or one meal. I'm not going to get hung up about it because I just feel confident in what I'm doing. Now, this 5 day trip to Italy is another story, right? So, okay, my plan going over there was, I found out you could take food on a plane. I didn't really think about it, take food from home. So I cooked up like a couple pounds of ribeye steak, and I had it cut up and ready to go, and I sealed it and put it in like Tupperware containers and carried that right on. Security didn't have a problem with it, so I thought that's pretty cool, and I thought I was so smart to have that ribeye. And I thought, I'm going to be eating like a king when everybody else is going to be having those crappy airplane food trays that they serve. And then so that'd be 1 day down, and then I could just deal with in Italy. And I thought in Italy, what I would do is stick to OMAD, uh, but on the meal I knew I would have to be somewhat flexible, because if I eat one meal a day, it's got to be, you know, it takes a lot of meat to do my current. If I eat meat once a day, there's a lot of meat. Typically, 2 or usually closer to 3 pounds of meat. I know in Italy, they don't really come. Meat in that kind of quantity isn't readily available, and so I knew I was going to have to be somewhat flexible. So my idea was to stick to OMAD, but be flexible on the meal, because I didn't want, going into this, I didn't want to make Jim's special diet the center of attention, or to be, the focus of something special. I want to just fly under the radar and participate in everything that was going on, and not be seen as some kind of a freakish dietary person. So that was the plan going in. So I got on a plane, and then I'm thinking about things. It was like an hour and a half before they started serving, and I started thinking about this trip and how it was going to go. And first of all, I was hungry. It was about time for my meal, the time that they were serving. It was about my normal eating time, so I would be hungry. But I think because of this lack of sleep preparing for this trip, and maybe the stress, and I was hungry. I was hungrier than normal, and starting to smell the food, when they were bringing it around. I was hungry, let's put it that way. So they came around, and they brought the tray, and they asked me, I think the choice was salmon or chicken breast. And I said, well, give me chicken breast. Now, I hadn't planned on eating any. I was going to turn down all that food, but I decided to take it and see if there was anything I could salvage out of it. So I took the chicken breast meal, and got out my ribeye, and started in on the ribeye. Now, it's cold, obviously, but typically I don't have any problem with cold meat. I mean, now ribeye, there's never any leftover ribeye that goes in the refrigerator to be eaten the next day. I mean, ribeye is totally consumed. What might be cold are like extra burger patties, or if I make a big roast, there's something that has to be stored. I've never had any trouble with leftover meat. I mean, in fact, normally I think, well, I'll heat it up, but frankly, I don't even heat it up. I just eat it, and it's good the second day. That's the great thing about meat. Now, the ribeye, though, is an exception. When I have a ribeye for dinner, it's fatty, and the fat is good. I mean, the way I prepare it in the sous vide and with a sear, it's just buttery and soft, and it's got a little char on the outside. It's just really nice and tasty. When a ribeye is refrigerated overnight, that fat congeals, and it takes on a different characteristic, and I didn't find it quite so tasty. So I'm working on my ribeye, but I'm having to cut away some of the fat. It wasn't so tasty. It wasn't the kind of fat I was looking for. So, I mean, I was working on the meat. I mean, the meat was fine, but I'm glad I took the airline food after all, because I needed to combine to get enough food in me. I had to eat that. So the meal I ate was chicken breast in a Cajun sauce and with some rice. I tasted that. Okay, I wouldn't normally have any sauce or rice, but it didn't taste half bad, so I demolished that. Small little portion, I mean, it's just gone. They had a pat of butter. Okay, that's a no-brainer. I just ate that, right along with the ribeye. I eat butter all the time. They had some, I think it's a soft cheese. I think it's Swiss. Maybe it's European. I'm not sure how to say the name. Gruyere. Anyway, but it's a good cheese. So yeah, the cheese, I ate that. There was a salad, which is a salad was a joke. A little bit of lettuce and a cherry tomato. I mean, I didn't touch that. But there was some salad dressing, and I even, like I said, I was hungry. I was eating everything. They had a little roll there with the meal. I had the bread, dunked it in the salad dressing, ate that. They had a little package of crackers. I dunked that in the salad dressing, ate those. There was even a little package of. It was a package. It was the dessert. Let's say it was a brownie of some type, and I ate the dessert. So I polished off everything but the salad and most of my ribeye, and then that was enough for me. It got me through the flight. And so right away the plan sort of was breaking down a little bit. I was eating airline food, and I started thinking about Italy, and in particular the coffee. Now, when I say I have coffee for breakfast and lunch, I mean it's like a Starbucks. I have a grande. I think it's like 12 ounces. This size, and that to me it's a meal replacement. I eat that. That takes place in my breakfast, and I sip on it for half an hour to an hour. It's just it gives me something to do, and I like the taste and the stimulation, and so it's like a meal replacement. The coffee in Italy, I mean, they take really great pride in it, but it's espresso, and it's like in a cup. It's like that much. You can get a lungo, which is like a double. It's a little deeper. You can get a macchiato. It has some milk, but it's not the kind you can sip on for half an hour to an hour. It's not like for me what I call a meal replacement. So yeah, it's good coffee, but it's not the kind of coffee I prefer. Now, I had coffee over there all the time, every chance. I went. I had 3 or 4 coffee breaks per day. But I started thinking about, the coffee's not going to get me through, so I'm probably going to have to be flexible on the OMAD as well. I'm probably going to have to eat lunch. And so that's what happened. When I went over there, I had coffees, but I also went to the lunchroom with everybody. Everybody eats. I mean, the coffee and the lunches, they're over there. It's like a social event, and it's kind of nice. I mean, Italy's full of nice people and nice social interaction, and even just going to the coffee machine, it'll be like clusters of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people, and they'll stand there and get their little espresso or cappuccino, whatever it is, and drink it and chat a little bit, and then go back to work. I mean, they don't carry the coffee around like in America. People with the mugs who go like me. I have my coffee at my desk. I'm drinking it. In Italy, they drink it at the machine, dispose of it, and go on. It's kind of nice. And same thing with lunchtime. They all meet and chat and talk. It's a social event. So I decided, I'm gonna need to have lunch. I'm sure that I'm not going to be able to wait and get this big, satisfying dinner. So I ate lunch in the canteen every day with everyone. I had the coffee breaks. Every night was a dinner at a restaurant, which is not optimal, but I'm going to say in Italy, it's not that bad. There are some decent choices in general over there. It's just they don't have like huge quantities like they do in America, which in America is not so good because it's huge quantities of crap for the most part. So one night in Italy was it was great. It was we were invited to a person's house for a pizza party, a real Italian style pizza party. So that was fun. That was a fun event. So I did that. So I'm just going to list, so as you can see, what I'm setting up here is that I went off plan and I kind of just went with the flow. I decided that, I'm strict all the time, but I'm not going to be so strict. I'm just going to participate and do whatever. and I'm sure that when I get home it's going to be totally different. So here's some of the things that I ate when I was in Italy. Like the meals, like the main courses were, they had this cut of beef called entrecote. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's pretty good. I had that a couple times. I had lasagna. I had pasta. I had one night was burger patties. We ate actually on the last night at an Irish pub, and I had burger patties. Uh, for lunch, it was definitely, usually a choice. They had beef or pork available, not huge quantities. One time they had this kind of flat sausage, which was good. Um, so the quantity is low, but always I would have that with some pasta, sometimes with potatoes. Sometimes I had some broccoli. I'd take a yogurt. Uh, I had several times French fries with dinner. Um, hors d'oeuvres, they have interesting hors d'oeuvres over there that you can find anywhere, especially in the Bologna region where I was. I mean, they have good meats. I mean, they have these like Parma ham, mortadella, various. I don't know if it's capicola or what it is, but they have a lot of thinly shaved meats, lunch meats, which are good. They're not what you call filling, but they're good. They're good keto food, and so I ate those all the time. Cheese. Now I love. They have Parmesan cheese over there, always available, and this is one of the highlights for me. I love their Parmigiano cheese. I mean, it's good. So I ate a lot of that. Hors d'oeuvres also many times they had these breaded and deep fried options, olives, cheese, or meats. I ate those. Completely off my normal menu, but whatever. They also had a nice one. They had like some melons, or some kind of a melon, not watermelon, but a type of melon with wrapped in the meat, in the lunch meat, and those were good. Uh, so this is kind of getting to be a confessional. I'm just confessing all the different kinds of food I ate. I had beer and wine. That typically you end the day at the office and then you get dropped off at the hotel and you wait like half an hour, 45 minutes for everybody. I mean, there's no dinners that start before 8. So you get to your hotel at 6. You got some time to kill. And, because in Italy, I mean, dinners start late. And so that means normally that you meet in the hotel and have some beer and hors d'oeuvres before dinner. So I did. I had beer over there, which normally I'd never do at home, and I had wine with dinner, local regional wines, several times. A few times on the coffee machine. Now the coffee machines by default, the coffee is strong, so by default it's set to have like a medium load of sugar in it, and you could dial it down to 0, which is normally how much sugar I take. But a few times I forgot to do that, and I got sugar in the coffee, which is kind of a wake-up call. That's by mistake, but I didn't make a big deal. I just drank it. At the pizza party, I mean, the pizza was wonderful. It was made in an outdoor brick pizza oven. I mean, thin crust, the way I like it, and different toppings. Every single one of them was good, including though one of them I never would have thought was good. But at the end of the night they made like a couple little dessert pizzas, which was just the crust spread with a layer of Nutella. And when I saw them doing it, I thought, "There's no way that's awful," And Nutella, I'm not going to do it. But of course, when they were bringing it around right in front of my face, it smelled good, and so I was polite. I grabbed a slice of that. Oh my God, that was good. Dessert pizza with just crust, pizza crust baked with Nutella. It was good. I went back for a second slice of that. Then after that, they brought out some ice cream, and I drew the line there. I said, no, I'm not going to have ice cream, but many people insisted that I did have it, so I said, whatever. It was just a small little cups. They were filling it up. So I had ice cream. So you can see, I mean, I'm all over the map. I'm just participating, blending in. I don't know if you want to call it cheating. I'm just allowing myself to do this. But the thing is, this went on for like 4 days. So, it's not just a 1 day thing. And I didn't eat extraordinary amounts. I was just eating what any normal person would eat over in Italy, but it was just totally different than my eating at home. I do want to make a confession, because I did kind of slip down a slippery slope a little bit one day, and I'm just going to confess it. In our meeting room where we where we met every day, they would always keep some little plates of sweet candies, hard candies, and tins of biscuits. We call cookies, but biscuits. And everybody was typically snacks on those. I didn't the first day. I didn't touch that stuff. I never do. The second day, I thought, well, I'm going to try one of these little kind of shortbread cookies. That wasn't too bad. As long as I'm participating. And then, like the third day, after lunch, and after lunch, everyone gathers the coffee machine. We did the coffee. I was the first one back to the meeting room. So I'm standing there and I'm looking at that tin of cookies, and I see those little kind of shortbread cookies, and oh yeah, that was good. I'm gonna have one of those. And I had one, and then I said, well, it'd be nice to have a couple, and so I ate two more quickly, and still no one around. It's not that I wouldn't have done this if somebody was around, but no one was around. So I started eating cookies. I probably ate I didn't count them, but it was probably, I'm going to say, like 6 or 8 cookies. I mean, these are not big, not huge. It's the kind of thing at home in my past life. If I would open a package, I would eat the entire package. The entire sleeve of cookies. I was famous for doing that. Yeah, you're going to have one, you're going to have two. Pretty soon it's a whole stack, and pretty soon the package is gone. Well, I felt pulled. These cookies, they were good, and I started to get into the habit there, and I put it down at some point. Let's say I ate cookies, and then I said, that's enough. What am I doing? And then I started feeling. I had this flashback several times during my weight loss journey. I have had dreams or nightmares that I totally blew my diet, that I just started gorging on cookies or ice cream or Taco Bell food or whatever, just eating all kinds of nasty food. And in my dream, I would be telling myself, oh, just kicking myself, Jim, you did it, you blew it, you're a failure again, and hearing all the negativity, and then waking up, and still, when you just wake up from a dream, it's still with you a little bit, and then you think, wait, did I blow it? No, I didn't blow it. That was all a dream. Oh, thank God. So when I went off the rails and was eating a bunch of cookies, for a moment there, I was kind of pausing, waiting to see if I was going to wake up, like it was a dream. And then I said, no, this is real. I just ate 8 cookies. So that's my confession. I mean, I wasn't really worried about it, but it just shows you that temptation when it's there. I only ate it because the tin of cookies was there and no one was around. Yeah, I started in on them. And if you face that every single day, it's hard to resist it. And one little break from your habit, may be too many. So it kind of proved in my mind why I remain strict is because it's danger lurking out there. There's those good little treats. But anyway, just thinking about now. Okay, the aftermath of this trip. I got home. Oh, one thing I want to say. Many of the carnivore people, and I thought myself included, since I've been strictly carnivore, I thought maybe that I would be sensitive to eating just all kinds of different foods, and that I would have some reactions or indigestion or some kind of trouble. I have to say, I had no trouble whatsoever with any of this food. Maybe it's because it tends to be in Italy not so heavily processed or full of nasty things. Relatively good ingredients. I don't know, but whatever I ate, it was fine with me. I didn't have any trouble at the time. I came home, and I have to tell this story. I arrived home, and the first night I got home in time. It was dinner time, and I didn't have any meat thawed, so I had to swing by the market, and I bought some meat and popped a ribeye in the oven, and had some burger patties and a couple pork chops. And then I wanted to go for a run because in Italy it wasn't possible to run. There just wasn't time or the place to do it. I think one day I was in the hotel on a stationary bike. That's all they had for 30 minutes. That's the only exercise I had over there. So I was eager to get back into my normal life, and I was eager to eat also. Yeah, I'd been up for like nearly 24 hours, but I got home, got the meat. I put the ribeye in the oven. Then I was going to just actually I planned to do a 6-mile run. But not even halfway through it, I just stopped. So after about 2 miles, I just felt like I didn't have the energy. I just didn't feel that good. So I equated it to the long flight and being tired, but I wasn't in tip-top shape. I had to walk for several minutes, and then I cut the run short to 3 miles. Got home and showered up and got into my meat, and this was the part I was looking forward to. I started with the burger patties, and I grilled them like I normally do. I just pan-fried them and got them ready, and I sear them a little bit now. As I'm cooking them, I use my torch and I sear them because it's I can cook them faster, and they stay a little juicier on the inside. They're really good. So I sear the outside rather than waiting for the pan to overcook them. And here's the revelation for me. I got the first 2 patties out, salted them. I think I put a little bit of butter on them like I normally do, a small amount. Took the fork in, made a little cut, and ate the first bite and started chewing it. And wow, I mean, it was like, hello, where have you been, my friend? That was so good. And believe me, the first thought that went through my mind was, okay, I missed you. The second thought that went through my mind that this food right here is better than anything I had in Italy the entire time. All the stuff, the cheese, the parmesan, all the acceptable things, the treats and whatnot, all the cheating, it was not as good as that burger patty. And that was, I was glad to have that feeling. I mean, that patty just tasted wonderful. And it's just a simple hamburger patty. So it kind of confirmed for me that, my lifestyle, there's a reason why I stick with it, is because I like it. There's a reason why I can avoid other foods or whatever. They're just not as good. So I wanted to share that. Here's the other thing. The next day, obviously in Italy, I wasn't weighing. I weigh over here. I weigh every day. I weighed the first day, and obviously I was expecting to have a weight gain for sure. I knew that. I was hoping it wasn't that bad. 9 pounds. I was 9 pounds higher than my last known weight that I was over here before I left on a trip. And I'm looking around, where's the 9 pounds? I didn't really, I felt a little bulkier, and I could kind of see it, but wow, that was an eye opener. Now, as of today, Uh, 7 pounds of that is gone, and I didn't do anything extraordinary to lose the weight. It's just I returned to my lifestyle, and the weight dropped off. But there's still like a pound or two that I have with me above where I was before. So I'm going to say that 5 days in Italy was a little bit of a setback in terms of weight. Now, look, I'm not 2 pounds. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just saying there was a penalty, and here's another penalty. Now I'm kind of wrapping up the aftermath. Um, I started, I told you the first day I ran, and I had to cut it short. So the second day I planned to run. What did I run? I think I planned. I got a loop that's like 7.6 miles. I ran that loop, and it was okay. I made it through. Now I was fueled by meat again, and I had better sleep. So I finished that run. Uh, but then, like the next day, I noticed soreness and stiffness. And I was equating this at first to the plane ride back. I was sort of cramped in an awkward position for a long time. And I was blaming it on that. Also, loading the luggage, I think I twisted wrong and I strained my lower back a little bit. But then I realized it was more than that. I was sore from the running. And that never happens. And in fact, okay, then the third day back was Sunday. Well, actually, it's like the second day back, but my third run back was a Sunday morning, and I had planned to do an 18-mile run. I had to cut that short at 15 miles. I just didn't have. I just didn't have it. So I did the 15 miles, but I tell you, the next day, Monday, going upstairs, I mean, I was sore and stiff in muscles, like from the running, and noticeably so. And I blame that on the diet, what I ate in Italy, having the carbs and the beer and the wine and everything I ate, sugar. Uh, it affected me, and because I I never have any kind of stiffness or soreness, maybe just the faintest hint if I do something really extreme. But I just wanted to share that. Also, generally, I was lethargic in the beginning and kind of lazy, and I wasn't myself. I didn't have my normal energy or whatever. So this is the aftermath of this little eating excursion. It was fun. I'm glad I did it. And to be social, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the trip. If I did it again, I would do it um, a little differently. I would skip the beer and the wine and some of the frivolity that I did, but uh, I would do it a little differently. But I was not my old self. It took me over the course of the week, by about Thursday of the following week, I went for a run that day, and zoom, man, I had it. I had a good, strong run. Uh, I could just feel it. Sometimes you just got all the energy, and you just feel like you could go on and on and on. And so I feel like I'm back where I need to be now. I'm back in the meat world, and everything is good again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share the story. I made a plan. I didn't stick to the plan. I adapted. I had a good time, but I paid some price too. And why I'm sharing all this is that having a setback. If I had just done that for a one day, it probably wouldn't. I never would have noticed anything the next day, or had not been lethargic or gained other than a couple of pounds. And you shake it right off. So one little kind of splurge is one thing, but if you do it for any kind of extended time, uh, you could pay a price, and it can pay a price mentally if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to retrain your habits and your thought processes. Uh, you may pay a price. You may be discouraged. I mean, everybody's trying to lose weight is discouraged when your weight goes up. And that's what's going to happen if you deviate. Uh, so if you're fine with your weight going up, go ahead and have your splurge, or avoid the scale. But I don't recommend that either. I mean, I just say be honest and face what's going on. But anyway, I'm don't want to make this too long of a video. I tried to pack a lot in there. Final thought is I had a good time in Italy. The meetings went well. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed just kind of a change of pace and enjoying the local food there. But I've got to say, I used to hold their food in such high regard, but my burger patties or my ribeyes or whatever I eat here, there's no match for that. I mean, so people might find that strange that a burger patty would be better tasting and more satisfying, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is when you become a kind of really into this carnivore world. You realize all those extra fancy ingredients and ways of preparing food, extra ingredients and spices and whatnot, it just gets taken too far. Just a simple slab of meat, for me, with some cooked and with some salt, some pepper or butter, I'm happy. So that's the moral of the story, and that's the story of my Italy trip. I hope this little mini confessional has been instructive, and if you've got any questions, let me know. I probably left out some of the details, but I think I got most of the important stuff in there. This is Sunday morning, and it was raining when I woke up. Normally I would head out and do my 15-mile run, but it was raining. Now I can see the sun shining out there, so I got my video filmed. I'm doing things out of order today, so I'm doing the chores and video and things first, and now I'm gonna get ready and head out for a run. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me know if you got any questions about this or anything else, and I'll be back next time. Take care, everyone. For now, this is Jim signing off.